We don't know.
I'm gonna just sing.
Nobody knows.
All right. There you go. There you go. Now can you can leave it on, but just all right. And so first I'll be. Wait, can I eat the rest of it? Hey man, you do what you gotta do. Okay. All right. So first thing before we get started, players and managers, just like practice, stop moving, eyes up here, okay? Let's make sure you're gonna be hearing about everyone on our team here, and everyone deserves the same respect as you when you get talked about too. So make sure that making a funny joke or saying something on the side isn't more important than giving the respect to your teammates, all right? And also, because Coach Noah has been really gracious about putting these all online, all our games and things like that, you also don't want to be 45 years old and looking back on this in 30 years and seeing how you were talking when we were doing the banquet. So let's make sure we do a good job of that. And I'll try to be as brief as possible while still making sure we recognize the team and the great things they did in the season. So first of all, before we talk about the players, I want to say a huge thank you to the families, to parents, relatives, everyone. As a parent with a child who plays sports, I know how difficult that is to manage all of that. And going out of the way for your kids, it truly is a blessing for them. And you guys need to recognize that, all right? And you need to go home today and say something, whatever it is, to make sure you really show your families how much you appreciate them going out of the way so you have the chance to do this, okay? So thank you to the families. There was a number of families who brought snacks and drinks throughout the season, and that was really appreciated during the games. So if you contributed, could you just stand up for a second, please? I know definitely Jonathan's parents, it was like every game. But yeah, thank you so much for the players really appreciate it. Also want to say a huge thank you to Coach Noah. Coach, yeah. Coach Noah did so much work for the team, as jumping in and helping with batting practice, to organizing, to the organizing, and the most important, the video. Just being able to have the kids be able to see themselves online, and being able to watch the games and have those memories is really important. So I think, what's the YouTube channel called again?
Memory Shots by Omaha.
Memory Shots by Omaha. So check it out if you haven't already, and consider contributing. I still need to contribute as well too, because that's great, the memories for the kids. So thank you. And so we had a little something for you, and thank you for everything you've done this season. Let's get thank you. And actually, and both of Omaha's parents were organizing the banquet, putting it all together, getting everything. All right. Okay. This was one of my favorite teams of all time. Remember what we said about not making it about ourselves. Okay. All right. This was one of my favorite teams of all time. That as far as coaching here at Lakota, and the reason why was because it was a bunch of guys that wanted to be there together and wanted to play together. And I felt like every single person on the whole team, all the players, all the managers, felt like part of the team. We obviously weren't perfect in that regard, but I felt like guys looked out for each other, helped each other out, and celebrated each other. I've never had a team where, in baseball, usually when you score a run, There's some high fives, and that's about it. Every time we scored a run, it was like we had just scored a touchdown. It'd be a party in the dugout. And it was a lot of fun because it was a bunch of good guys who looked out for each other. And so I had a great time, so thank you guys for that. And so we'd like to have a certificate to honor each member and of the team. And after that, we got a couple of awards that the team voted on themselves. So first of all, I'd like to start with the managers. This is by far the best group of managers we've ever had. We have 40 kids try out. Could not take everybody, and so we put it out to the kids, hey, if you want to come and be part of the team, come and be a manager. We had 6 kids come back and want to be managers, and they showed up every day, and they put in the work. And there was so much to do that sometimes they didn't always get to throw or swing as much as they would have liked to, but they came with positive attitudes and worked hard every day. And it never had a problem at the games at all because they all took on a role and they took care of everything. And it was really, really, I've never even close to had a group of managers this great. And those of you going into high school, I hope you continue to be involved in baseball. And those of you coming back next year, I hope you try out again, all right? Because you definitely this year proved something about yourself with your participation on the team. Okay, so to kind of make it a little bit fun, I'll say some things about the guys, and you maybe try to guess who they are. All right, first up, Batman.
Michael.
He took on the role. Hey. All right. Definitely taking on the role of making sure that the bats and the equipment were taken care of. But more so than this, a guy who was just excited to show up every day and wanted to have fun. He was happy to be there, liked to joke around, liked being around everybody. And he's also a guy that I've gotten on him throughout the school year and to hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. And he always comes with a positive attitude. And so who do you think it is? Michael Burdett. Come on up. I keep forgetting that the pandemic, the kids haven't done this before. So then you go sit down. Okay. Next up, this manager took on a couple of roles, and one, it really helped out. Never had anyone do this before. They were a practice umpire. And I never had a practice umpire before, but it helped so much because when we were working on our at-bats, we were able to have balls and strikes called and made it more real. And I think that it helped prepare the kids for the game. I thought the best part about our team was our ability to have good at-bats and find a way to get on base. And you need an umpire to make that happen. Never had that. In addition, they also were the scorekeeper. And in baseball, that's complicated. Baseball scorekeeping is very complicated, and there's a lot to keep track of. And they did a great job of it. And so, who do you think it is? Jude. All right, let's hear it for Jude. Come on up, Jude. Oh, yeah. All right. Now, this guy's a little bit quiet, but he leads by example. He leads by example, and his role as a manager, he kind of was a jack of all trades. He did everything whenever it was needed, wherever it was needed, and he was kind of a little bit of a bench coach as a way. He did it quietly. He didn't do it very loudly, but he was always there to encourage the guys, always there to help them out. And gosh, by the end of the season, some of the plays he was making in practice catching the ball, I was like, I might have made a mistake on this guy too. He's a great defensive player. And that is Samuel Januna. All right. This guy His role is he used his voice, and he was our guy. He was in charge of the lineup. Well, a lot of people use their voices, but he was in charge of the lineup. Always had the lineup going, and always made sure that we knew what the order was. Because in baseball, if you mess that up, you can get an extra out, and that can be the difference in the game. And in addition to that, they love to have fun. They were always laughing, always having a good time, but in a way that was not disruptive at all. Also, this just came to mind. Oh, hey, you want some food?
Sorry.
Oh, if you want some food, no, go ahead. If you want some food, you can get some. All right. There was an incident in one of our games where one of the other players on the other team had said some things that were wrong about a player on our team. And this guy was one of the first ones to stand up and say something about it. And that was really great. And so can you guys guess who it is?
Gage.
Gage Torres. This guy had probably one of the highest pressure jobs. I was always like, ask him, hey, do you got it right? Do you got it right? Do you got it right? Because if he messed up his job, we could lose one of our pitchers for an entire week because there's strict rules about the pitches. And you can't miss a single one. You have to have an exact count. And I know probably wasn't always very nice to him about it in the pressure of the game. But he never got it wrong. He always ended up with the exact count at the end of the game. It was perfect, and we were able to balance our pitchers in very difficult situations. The Sahali Kylo game was so difficult because we had to have guys ready back-to-back days, and they couldn't exceed their pitch count. And he made 0 mistakes, and all our pitchers were ready. Also in practice, he started really hitting the ball at the end of the season. And I thought he was a 7th grader, but apparently not. So that means he's got a couple more years to be involved in the program. Who is it?
Adam.
And this guy right here, he did a lot of things, but I would say he's almost one of the coaches. All right. He is a really I know he's silly and he jokes around because he's having fun doing it. He does it in a very appropriate way. He doesn't interrupt with anything at all, but he has a maturity about him too, where he understands things beyond his years. He's able to recognize what guys on the team are going through, and in his own way help them to be successful and help them get through. And it's such a pleasure to have him on the team. And in that way, he's a manager, but in a way, he was almost kind of a coach on the team as well too. And that was great. And I was really happy to have him on the team. So who is that? Jonathan. All right. Hey, sorry I'm going on a little bit about the guys, but they're all such really good guys, and there's so many good things to say about them that hopefully we're out of here by. Let's go ahead and get to the players in no particular order. Just checking the numbers real quick. Usually we get it right. Hopefully, if someone is not on here, that's our mistake. We didn't intend it. Clerical error. So we do want to recognize someone who came out, did not finish the season with us, but we really enjoyed having him on the team. We enjoyed having him on the team. Great attitude, loves playing baseball, and definitely looking forward to being involved in baseball in high school. So, and I was really happy to hear that you wanted to come and join the guys for the banquet, okay? So let's hear it for Diego, okay? So this guy, just because of just a few paperwork issues, he had a little bit of a late tryout, and at that time we had a full set roster, and so I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but I wanted to give him a fair shot. But he came out in tryouts. He hit the ball hard 3 straight days in a row, and he made the team. And he was one of the most positive guys on the team. He loved being out there. He loved being out there. He loved being one of the guys. He loved playing. And I never heard him say a single negative thing ever. Well, that goes for most of you guys. It was a very positive team. But this guy especially, he's really, really positive and enjoyed being part of it. Whenever I'd ask him to do something, whether it was a task for the team or to make a list of something, he was on it right away, and he get it all figured out. And he's really a pleasure to have on the team. And 8th grader, continue to stay involved in baseball in high school. What do you think it is? And the best dressed one as well too. Hey, I'm just saying, guys. All righty. Hey, this guy right here played at least 3 sports at the school this year. Is a really, really great athlete, and I've enjoyed coaching him for a little while in basketball. He was on the team for about half the season or so. And then this year, he was only on the team for a little bit. Well, he's on the team the whole time, but he only played a little bit because he was out at recess and got a fluke injury. And so we missed him because he could throw hard, he could hit the ball hard, and he came back and ended up in, I think, just his 2nd game back on the team, hitting one of the longest home runs in JV. Not varsity, but in JV, one of the longest home runs that I have ever seen. And it's a pleasure to have him on the team. So that is Miles. He's not here, so I'll talk about him briefly. But
Consistency.
I'm pretty sure that this guy comes from a football background because I've never seen a baseball player with much intensity and fire as he had, and it was awesome, and it made a difference. And so as you go, no, that is. Wait, is he online?
No. Go ahead.
You don't have him?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's not answering.
All right.
He's busy.
Here we go. Awesome. This guy right here. I was thinking about this. At the beginning of the season, on one of the days where it was so rainy, we had to share the gym with varsity, and we would go down to a classroom and we would do baseball basics lessons because there's only about 1 or 2 guys who had played before. And this was one of the guys who had played before, so he had some knowledge which really helped. But we ended up watching some videos, and we ended up, I don't know if you guys know Randy Johnson from the 90s. And we watched some Randy Johnson videos, and we talked about how he was a guy who wanted the ball. Not just any time, but he wanted it in the big moment when it really mattered, when it really counted, and the pressure was on the line. And this was this type of a player. They were quiet. They didn't have a lot to say. But I went back and thought about it, and at least 5 of our 6 games, they were the closer. And they were coming in when the pressure was on the line, and they had to get the job done. And one of the hardest things to do for at JV is throw strikes. It's one of the most important things to do. And fortunately, we had some pitchers that could do that this year. And he was one of the best at coming in and throwing strikes when the pressure was on the line. So, he came and he wanted the ball in that moment. And who you guys think it was? Julian. Alrighty. This guy right here was a good hitter. He another guy is a little bit quiet, didn't have a lot to say, but he'd get in and he was really good at taking what he did in batting practice and then applying it into the game and being able to hit the ball where the fielders weren't so he could get on base. Additionally, he asks really good questions. And that's an important thing as an athlete and as a student, to be able to ask questions that pertain to how you're going to get better and how you're going to be more successful. And they also asked about new positions. They're like, hey, coach, I want to play this position. And like, can I get a chance in practice to play it? And then reminded me. And so they were, letting me know they were excited about learning new things. And so really enjoyed having them on the team this year. Can't remember what grade they're in. I hope back next year. You guys know who I'm talking about? Timothy Lee. All right.
No, I'm so great.
Oh, you're in seventh? Okay, good. You got me. All right. Oh, man. This guy got an injury early, and it hurt. Well, I imagine the injury hurt, but it hurt the team as well too, because he's a good baseball player, had a good strong bat, but he also had a calm presence about him that just people enjoyed being around him and really helped keep the team on balance. Because it's nice to have like a lot of excitement and a lot of energy, but having someone that can, just keep the team going with, hey, how you doing, man? Let's see, get something to eat. How old are you now?
Oh, 19.
Oh, he was on the team, so probably like 6 years ago or so. He was on the same team. Man. You hit a home run too. I don't know who hit it further, you or your brother. You guys are gonna have to talk about that. And this player came back and they really showed their leadership. Not surprisingly, they're also in the leadership class here at the school as well too. And we were better once he was back. We missed him. We missed his bat. We missed his leadership, and just how much he did for the team in that respect. And so we were really sorry that we missed him most of the season. Tough luck. We're glad to have him back. And he's an 8th grader, so make sure to continue with baseball in high school. And that is Marquise. All right, this next guy right here, right from the beginning, well, he's on the basketball team also. And we were talking real early about playing baseball as well too. And he was excited about playing baseball, and he wanted to be a pitcher. But we needed, no baseball team can really survive with just one catcher. We needed a couple of catchers. And so he became one of our main catchers, and that's a tough position. You gotta get behind the plate, you're gonna get hit with the ball, you're gonna get bruises. You're crouching down all game long, not to mention we had our catchers catch all practice, so all week long he was crouching down. He was pretty sore. And never complained, did a great job at catcher. And then finally, at the end of the season, got his chance to come in and pitch. And he dominated the other team with 7 strikeouts and 3 innings. But even better than that, he was a leader. He was a leader who looked out for everyone on the team. Whether it was in basketball season, when he wanted to make sure even when his team wasn't playing, the C team's floor was clean for their game, okay? Or this season also, looking out for the players on the team and making sure that they knew where they're supposed to be, what to do, or if anyone needed any help. He was a great leader and really, really loved having him on the team. Who you guys think it is? Malachi. All right, come on up, Malachi. He's also a good DJ too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, this guy right here. I'll never forget in the first game where he crushed one to center field, way over the center fielder's head, and he's super fast, and he's going around first base, and I'm sure that he's got a home run. So I yelled at him, "Hey, go get a home run." He thought he'd hit a home run, and he stopped on first base and just started celebrating. Longest single in the history of baseball. But one thing to say about this guy, he always hustled. And there's guys that always hustle, but I mean, this guy always hustled. We could have called foul ball. The umpire could have called foul ball, and the play was dead, and he was still running all the way around the base and still going. In the first or second practice, we were learning how to slide. We're going through the basics, things like that. And he came into home plate, did not follow directions, and did a Superman dive in the home plate. He played hard, and he definitely represents the hustle that we expected of everyone on the team. I think you know who it is. It is.
Mr. Nutt, 38 Camel.
All righty. Another guy, one of our main pitchers, and he's one of our main pitchers from the very beginning until the very end, because he could throw strikes, and that's one of the most important things in all of baseball, but especially at JV. If you start walking a bunch of players, it's a problem. And so he's a very good pitcher. Additionally, he was a really good shortstop. He would field the ball, get in the position, and make a good throw. We didn't have a lot of plays where we threw guys out because our pitchers were good in striking the batters out most of the time. But our one play that we made from shortstop the first this year was made by him. Great fielder and a very skilled guy too. Not to, we're focused on baseball, but in basketball season, he also had a turnaround. He had a turnaround hook shot, which one that hasn't been seen since the 1980s or so. The old school hook shot. And so he's a guy who's very focused on having trained skills. And I think you know who it is? All right. Okay, this guy, I know we have 400 people on the team, so we're getting there. Sorry. Thanks for being patient. This guy right here, I thought back about it because he played basketball as well too. And he, throughout basketball season and baseball season, we were always asking him to play a position that he was something kind of new for him, and he maybe wasn't necessarily comfortable with. And he always said, "All right, no problem. I'll do it. I'll make it happen." Even though he's not the tallest guy around in basketball, there was a game he had to play the post, and he actually ended up scoring 4 points in the post in that game. And we needed 2 catchers, and every year in JV we never have someone who's played catcher before. We never have anyone who's ever played catcher before. So I look for a guy who's going to work hard, who's tough, who's going to do the dirty work for the team and not complain about it. And I knew this guy would do that job. So I asked him. He was willing to do it. He was willing to try in the catcher's equipment and everything that went with it. And he got in there, and he did a really good job behind the plate. And he he also went through a bit of a slump in the middle of the season where he just wasn't hitting the ball. It wasn't working out for him. And every player goes through that. And it was really cool to see him work through that. And then in the last game of the season, clear the bases with a home run in the last game of the season. That was really cool to see him persevere through that adversity and be tough and make that happen. So I think you know who it is. All right. Alrighty. This guy right here, I remember after the game, or when we were warming up, or sometime during the game, because I'd always, like before the game, I'd talk to their team. The coaches on all the teams are friendly, and they'd say, oh, we got all new players. They haven't played baseball before. I say we mainly have the same thing. Not too many people have played baseball before. And then they'd always say at the end of the game, I'd say, hey, there's a few guys on your team that look like they played baseball before, and there's certainly we have a couple, but this is one guy that kept pointing out, and I said, no, it's his first year playing baseball. He picked it up really fast, ended up being a great pitcher, could throw the ball hard, was our cleanup hitter, and he got better throughout the season, and by the end of the season, he was crushing the ball. He was hitting hard line drives. And it sounds like he's pretty interested in staying involved in baseball, which is great, as he's only a 7th grader. And so did a great job, and looking forward to having him come back next year. And that is... Omaha! He had a graduation for his family. One of only a couple 6th graders. So this guy and Adam, maybe a 6th grader. Okay, and he's a tough guy. He's a hustler. He's exactly what our team was all about. And he just unfortunately got an injury and was unable to play. But looking forward to having him coming back for the next couple of years, and that is Hugo. All right. We have a couple of plaques which are voted on by the players this year. I've never done it before. I've always had the players vote on one, but I don't know, there's something about this team where these guys really bonded. They knew each other. I think it's evident right now how they've been able to guess every single person, and how, although they're a little corny sometimes, how they've listened and supported each other. And so they actually voted this year on both of them. And we had 2 awards that I think represent our team. And interestingly enough, both of these awards, the winners of them, it was like a 80% vote. Like, it was across the board. These people were voted for. And so the first one was the most inspirational. And this is a really special award because I think one of the greatest lessons you guys can take from this is that no matter what you do, whether it's baseball, any other sport, family life, anything you're involved in, that you can be someone who is inspirational. You can make it worth it. You can do your best. And like we talked about winning all season, what winning really is. Obviously, we want to win in points and runs. And we'll be disappointed if we don't, as competitors are. But win or lose, you have to walk away knowing you did your best. You have to. And this guy really represented it. And you could hear it in his voice. And you knew that when he was playing, the way he ran the bases, he was going to play as hard as he could for you. And when you were out there playing, he was going to push you to be the best that you could be. And he didn't back down. He pushed you guys to be the best that you could be. And that wasn't always easy to hear. but it was out of love, and and I think we can look back and see that he really truly was inspirational. And so voted on by the 2022. I shouldn't read off of it, I guess. The 2022 JV team votes Salalea Lamisio as most. All right. This was the Falcon Pride Award. And this one was also across the board. Almost everybody voting for this player, and for good reason. Okay? He was a leader, and he did lead with his voice, and he was good at balancing when someone on the team needed, kind of a pat on the back and some encouragement, and also good at balancing that out, knowing when the team needed to have, a few stern words and saying, hey, it's time to go. We need to get this happening right now. He did a really good job of balancing that leadership. But he also led by example. Okay? He led by example, where he was playing one of the positions where it's the hardest work out there. And he was he's willing to go in and do that day in and day out, even in the final game where he was feeling awful. He was not sick. I need to put that disclaimer in the world we're in today. But from the previous day, the efforts of previous day, completely exhausted, but still getting out there and getting the job done. And he was a leader, and he I was proud to have this guy on basketball and baseball this year. And he really represents our school and what our school is all about. And I'm excited to see what he does in high school. And so the JV Falcon Pride Award goes to Malachi.
Be good.
Hey. Hey. I know I've talked way too much. Sorry about that. But before we clean up, and the parents don't do any of the cleaning, you guys do all the cleaning, and no one leaves until it's all clean and good to go, okay? I hope you guys continue to be involved in baseball, all right? Okay? Don't, if you go to high school, right, try out for the team, and it's hard. When I went to high school, I got cut freshman year and sophomore year. I didn't make it till I was a junior, okay? But go out and try out for the team, make the team or don't make the team. Find a way to be involved. Talk to the coach, just like you did this here. Can I be a manager, scorekeeper, all this? Find a way to be involved in baseball, because baseball I have great memories from it, and it's something that I am obviously involved in to this day, but going to games with my family members, it's a wonderful thing to be involved in. Please stay involved in that and other sports and activities as well, and don't get discouraged. All right, go out, and I hope you make the team. All right, but if you're like me and it doesn't happen right away in high school, don't quit. Keep trying, keep going, and being involved. And all of you who are not 8th graders, looking forward to seeing you out here next year as well too. Okay, so why don't we get one more team picture? And we'll get a team picture, and then all the players, you'll clean up. We'll after we wipe the tables, we'll put them back over there. Someone will sweep. I'm going to try to find some foil so everyone can make plates to take all the food home. Great idea. Thank you for that. So I'm going to try to find the foil because we have to take all the food. We'll get cleaned up, and then we'll have a great summer. So, hey, let's hear it one more time for the 2022 Falcons.
Omaha, another table. Oh my gosh. Another table.